The doctor most probably said, you've got Sjögren's, you've got dry eyes, you've got dry mouth. They might want to give you a lip biopsy. As though you're having a lip biopsy, you know yourself whether you've got saliva or not. A lip biopsy just tells the amount of saliva that you have. And it's very painful. So it's no use putting yourself through that, because take notice. Now is the time that you have to take notice of what your body is telling you. If your saliva is diminishing, you need to get yourself a handheld massager you can get them very cheaply from Priceline, where you keep, while you're watching TV, massage your salivary glands with a massager. They're battery operated, and you just sit there and do it each day. You have to stimulate those salivary glands to keep them working. In my case, I used to do all that, but still I lost the saliva from the parotid gland. The parotid gland kept swelling, it was inflamed, it stopped working, and now I don't have a parotid gland. It's a case of use it or you lose it. I had an ultrasound. They looked and said, I can see where it's supposed to be, but there's nothing there, it's gone. So don't let that happen to you. This is preventative. You need to prevent everything that has happened to me. We need to prevent it from happening to you. And what they'll do is they'll look at your blood tests. It'll see that your ESR, or the sedimentation rate, is very high, which the sedimentation rate in the ESR is an indication you have inflammation in your body. That inflammation could be in your lungs, could be in your bowel, because your bowel your digestion starts in your mouth. When you don't have saliva, it doesn't start till you get to your stomach. So you'll suffer from constipation some days, diarrhea the next day. You'll suffer from all sorts of digestive problems. The way you can help this is by taking 6 to 8 turmeric tablets a day. It also lowers the inflammation in your body, but it also helps with bowel movements and things like that. So you need to keep yourself healthy. Eyes. Now, eyes are very important. The doctor won't say to you, he might say, oh, you're going to need eye drops. They need to be a preservative-free eye drop. I used to use liquefilling tears, and I was always getting conjunctivitis of the eye tissue. It's because you have to use so much of them, it then starts to affect your eye tissues. So you need either Terra tears, you need Bion tears. I use Bion tears, I find they're very good. I use a Polyvisc overnight to sleep. When I was really bad, I used to use Visco tears every hour. Now, the important thing is you need to keep these eyes lubricated. You need to lubricate them as often as you think of it, whether they're burning and itching or hurting or whatever. You need to get into a routine where every half an hour you put eye drops in. The surface of the eyes crack from the dryness. And if you can imagine what a desert looks like, the surface of a desert, this is what the surface of your eyeballs look like. So therefore you'll have blurred vision, you'll have, you're going to also get ulcerated eyeballs. Now if you get this, the pain is unbelievable. Do yourself a favour, don't let ulceration get anywhere near you. Lubricate, lubricate, lubricate. That's all you must think now. lubricate your eyes as often and as many times whether they need it or not. The health of your eyes is very important. I have different things, like when I wake up in the morning, I have Lens Plus, which is just like saline water, and I rinse the polyvisc that I've had in my eyes, I rinse them out with that so that I then can see and it's not fogging up my eyes. I also, between eye drops, I make up a solution of a Himalayan salt. Now, the Himalayan salt can be gotten from a health food store, and you do just a minute part, like the tip of a teaspoon, in 60 mils of water, and you drop that into your eyes maybe half a dozen times a day. This keeps them free of any infections or anything like that. If for any chance you do have blepharitis, which is inflammation of the eyelids, what you need to do is, I found, I was backwards and forwards to ophthalmologists, eye specialists, all sorts of people to do with the eyes. They kept giving me all these different tablets that made you light sensitive to sun and things like that. And I end up fixing it with organic black tea bags, which you could get from Woolworths. When your eyes are bad, put the tea bags on your eyes, leave them for however many minutes you can leave them, then squeeze the tea into your eyes and let it sit for a while, and then it'll get rid of any inflammation or anything that you might have on your eyelids. The next one is the mouth and not having any saliva. This plays havoc with your teeth. You really need to go to the dentist regularly now. Your teeth will break off, they become brittle if you haven't got enough saliva, because your teeth are porous. They break off, they get brittle, and they can break off right at the gum line. So the thing that you need to do is keep, and I have like the purple, what they call pixters, that I buy from the chemist. And with those pixters, you clean between the teeth. You've got to be careful of floss, because when they start to become brittle and they start to break off, you'll find that when you use the dental floss, it'll catch under the little edges and you'll actually be pinging your teeth off. I can remember my granddaughter at the time was only little, and I used to floss every day. She was only about 5, and I was flossing and I pinged one of the teeth off and it came off and hit the mirror. She wouldn't, from that day to this, she would never floss because she didn't want to lose her teeth. But so, as I said, I use the pixters. You've got less chance if there's any little pieces starting to break off your teeth. You need to go to the dentist and don't leave it like I got to a stage. I was so sick of being at the dentist. So I'd leave it to 9 months, instead of going every 6 months. And it would be too late. There would be too much decay and it would cost you a fortune. I go now every 4 months. You might only need to go, I don't have any saliva at all, but you might have a bit of saliva, so you might get away with 6 months. You might get away with 9 months, but you'll have to get to know when the plaque starts to build up on your teeth, your mouth and your tongue will then start to ulcerate. So you need to keep that healthy as well. If you get mouth ulcers, you can rinse and gargle with sage tea. Once again, the Himalayan crystal salt, I get a little bottle on the windowsill and I rinse my mouth with that 3 times a day. You need to Once again, if you can suffer from candida or thrush of the mouth, if that happens, you need natural yogurt. Put it in your mouth and keep it in your mouth as long as you can, and the bacteria in the yogurt will kill the thrush or the candida. If you have tonsils, it will affect your tonsils as well. The best thing to do, if you get organic sesame oil and you rinse or hold it in your mouth as long as you can for 5 minutes, or you'll find that the oil will, leak down onto your chin and that, but you need to hold it in your mouth as long as you can, gargle with it if you can, and this clears out the tonsils. Do not swallow it. It will be full of poison when you spit it out. So try not to swallow any of it at all, because it leaches the infection out of your tonsils. Another thing that's very good for keeping your mouth lubricated is get organic virgin coconut oil. I put coconut oil on my salads. I take it by the teaspoon if my mouth is really dry, and it helps to lubricate and keep the mouth really moist. Also too, when you have a glass of water, you can get glycerine from the chemist, put 8 drops in a glass of water, and that'll help to keep all your airways lubricated, because you will suffer from burning and pain, and sometimes you'll feel that everything is like seizing up. That's because it's dry. So you really need to keep it lubricated and oil it up as much as you can. If you could take fish oil capsules, 1,000 milligram, I take between 6 and 8 a day. You might only need 4 or whatever. Once again, everybody is different, and it's all trial and error to see what suits you, and take notice if the symptoms are relieved when you do take that many. Exercise is very important, because what happens is you lose all the elasticity around your mouth. So it will get harder and harder when you go to the dentist. Make sure you have a dentist that has small hands, because your mouth, when it loses its elasticity, they split all the corners of your mouth trying to get their hands in there, especially if they're working on your back teeth. Now, one of the things that you're going to have to do is restructure your life. It's no use thinking about, I used to be able to do this, I used to be able to do that. Now you have to surrender and think about, how can I cope with this, and work out strategies and coping mechanisms that is going to make your life easier. What used to be is not what is now. You have to grieve for the life that you had. You can still have a really good life, but you just have to, when you go out, you have to have artificial saliva, you have to have eye drops, you'll have to have water. So you have to look at the size of your handbag, so that you can carry all these things with you constantly. I need eye drops. I'll just take a break and put some eye drops in. So you'll find it hard, because depending on the amount that of saliva you have, it affects your swallowing. So you're going to have to look at, food sources, things that you can eat that are comfortable at eating. You can still eat normally, but it will take you a lot longer to chew things, because you're going to have to chew them a lot more, so that the little bit of saliva you do have kicks in, and then, you're able to swallow it. Or once again, you've got to drink while you're eating, or you've got to make sure, I call it companion eating. If I have a sandwich, I have to make sure I've got tomato, lettuce and mayonnaise and whatever else I want to put on it, because that helps to lubricate the bread and get, helps you to swallow the bread. If you're having breakfast, you really need a protein powder that you put in to give you energy in your breakfast. So all those we can discuss depending on the level of dryness that you're experiencing at the moment, because that dryness will affect every organ in your body, not only just your mouth or your digestive system. Restructuring your life, you have to have a routine, and a routine that you can follow every day, because Sjögren's is like, I call it on a time clock. You get up in the morning, you have to do a certain amount of lubrication. You have breakfast, you have to do a certain amount of lubrication. You're lubricating, and also you have to moisturise your skin. Your skin is the largest organ of the body, and that will be affected as well. So everything has to be lubricated. So yeah, it does take time, and it's just a matter of working out how much time and structure it into your daily living.